The Braves clinching their playoff berth last night in exciting fashion. Can't beat a walk-off home run to lock up the fact that you're going to go to the playoffs. But the one thing that, really stuck out to me about it is that it's Chipper Jones' chance to go back to the playoffs.
Yeah, but they're really only getting a one-game playoff. That's all they're guaranteed. By winning last night, it's great. They're guaranteed to get into the postseason, but with the new way the postseason's working in baseball this year, they've only clinched one extra game.
Now, that's true, but they did also, me and you talked about it yesterday. I do think, we agree on the fact that Atlanta's probably not catching the Washington Nationals in the NL East, but with their win yesterday and the Nationals' loss, it is only a 4-game lead. Now, obviously, I think each team plays 8 left, I believe. I could be wrong. It might be 9. I'm pretty sure it's 8 left. So, obviously, they would need one hell of a almost quote-unquote small collapse by the Nationals to take the division title from them. But at the same time, it's not like you haven't seen that kind of stuff happen before. Last year, the Braves had an 8.5-game lead on the wild card standings and ended up going 9-18 in September and not making the playoffs. It seems to be a consistent thing in the MLB of late where it's some team blows some type of lead. I can think back to the Mets a couple of years ago.
That's why. Teams get hot, teams get cold, and it's about getting hot at the right time and avoiding going cold.
That's simple. That's the bottom line of it. Yeah, that really is the bottom line of it. I am looking at it right now. The season ends a week from today, and you have 8 games left for the Nationals, 8 games left for the Braves. And we've been doing this the whole time. And like I said, me and Eric mentioned yesterday that we do believe that the Nationals will hold on for the division. But if you look at the schedule, I could see why people think the Braves have an opportunity. The Braves are home against Miami the next 2 games. Then they play 3 at home against the Mets. And then they go on the road for their final 3 at Pittsburgh, another struggling team. While Washington has to go to Philly, to St. Louis, and then home against Philly in their final 3 games. So based on looking at the schedule and what you've seen of teams in this month, it's not as far-fetched as maybe we thought it was just yesterday for the Braves to have an opportunity. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen.
It's not far-fetched at all.
They really pretty much need to go, 6-2, you'd say? And you need the Nationals to go no better than 2-6. So, they're going to need the Nationals to do really bad over their last stretch of 8 games. But it's baseball. It can happen. You go up against the Phillies and run into that pitching staff, you could end up in a lot of trouble. And what's going to be funny to me is if the Nationals don't make the playoffs, how many people are going to blame it on them sitting Strasburg? Not saying us in this room or anybody in our chat room is gonna, but how many people would blame it on the Nationals benching Strasburg? But when it comes down to the Braves clinching last night, look, I'm a big fan of Chipper Jones. I've mentioned that numerous times on this show, so I'm very happy for him. Ironically enough, he actually led the 9th off with a double and sort of set up the opportunity for the game-winning home run for Freddie Freeman. Hit the 2-run shot in the bottom of the 9th to pretty much win the game. Yeah, it was a walk-off shot. Now, I do want to mention one thing, and I believe Fife threw this in the chat room as well, and that's that the Atlanta Braves have now won their last 22 starts by Chris Medlin. Which actually...
Are we sure about that stat, by the way?
Yes.
Because he's 9-1 on the season.
Every single...
And that just... I find that stat funny. I saw if I put that in the chat room too. But if you have a loss, that must mean that the team must have lost somewhere in that stretch too.
That would make sense.
That would make sense. So that kind of takes that 22 starts in a row. Not really 22 starts in a row. Yeah, he might have 22 or 23, something of that nature, but he doesn't have 22 consecutive.
Oh, They said it on ESPN. I read it on ESPN. I actually also read it on AOL Sports. So there are a couple places that
but I'm asking, how is that possible?
I don't know.
How is it possible if you have a loss?
No idea.
If you have a loss, that your team didn't lose. Riddle me that, Batman. I'm very confused by that stat.
That's it. That's actually a really interesting
He's been a great pitcher. Do not get me wrong. He's probably been the best pitcher in the NL that nobody knows about. And that's just a stat. I mean, that's just fact. He is the best pitcher nobody knows about. He is a guy who also had the Tommy John surgery, who also the Braves have been bringing in slowly to become a starter, and they didn't rush him. They did the exact opposite, actually, of what the Nationals did with Strasburg. The Nationals used Strasburg all year, and then when he hit his innings limit, they shut him down. What the Braves did is they didn't bring this kid in the beginning of the year. They didn't bring him in until the season had already gotten going. This way, they didn't have to worry about an innings limit with him, and he would be available for the playoffs if they needed him. The Braves were actually really smart, where the Nationals are really stupid.